When I looked into that bedroom, I saw a girl, maybe 16 years of age, covered in blood. She then floated off the bed and lands on the floor, getting up and doing one of those walks from horror movies. I would run, trying not to scream as she chased me. She only did this when I was alone, completely, or just with the girls and they were sleeping. Hey y'all, welcome and welcome back. It is very late at night and I am sitting downstairs by myself in a thunderstorm to film this because I wanted to go ahead and film everything today because I'm worried I won't have time to later. And yeah, here we are. I'm scared. How are you guys? I hope you're as scared as me because I shall not suffer alone. Anyways, I am back to read some of your guys' terrifying stories, which is quite literally the last thing that I should be doing in this state. But here we are. As always, if you have any stories that you would like for me to read, send them to the email in the description and just put YouTube either in like the header or just somewhere at the beginning so that I know where to read it. And yeah, let's get right on into it so that I can get right on upstairs in my comfy cozy bed with my husband where I'm not scared down here. It all started off near the creek at my grandma's house. My grandma had recently moved but still owned the house, so me and my family would commonly visit and walk downtown to go to the creek. But there was one day when we went to her house and I got an uneasy feeling. But nonetheless, I was with my family, so we all went inside and my dad wanted to take a shower. So all is well, I went with my sister to the creek and we both hung out by the bridge. Then literally going back down the creek, not much was different than normal. But then I thought I saw something in the bushes around the creek. So I told my sister, Mom wanted us home and I wanted to hurry back. As I walked back, the uneasy feeling was fading away. Then me and my sister walked inside and my sister ran off to play, but I started to have this uneasy feeling again. My mom told me about how the bathroom door was opening and closing soon after I was going to use the upstairs bathroom to fix my makeup. And I got the worst vibes ever, like panic attack level. But I decided I was going to fix my makeup anyway. As I walked in, the door closed on me. I didn't even notice at the time, but I had fixed my eyeliner and I went to walk out and the door wouldn't open. I checked the lock and tried to kick it open, but it still wouldn't. It had been around 5 minutes, then it opened with a click, and I ran downstairs and told my mom, and that's when she told me about the doors and how they were opening and closing. We all left soon after, but I thought it was spooky, and I'm incredibly new to believing. They really like opening doors. I don't know why, but it's happened literally in every house I've ever been in my life. This one is titled, I Don't Know What Happened. I stayed up with my mom late watching movies because it's the last day of winter break. At around midnight, we decide that's enough and we should go to sleep. So I go to the bathroom to brush my teeth and things, and when I'm done, she goes after. But she takes a bit longer and I'm just really tired, so before she comes in to say goodnight, I do a little prayer. I was thirsty, so I ended up going to the kitchen to get some water. The lights are off in the house and I'm just getting there on how I remember the house plan. I drink my water and now I have a hallway to my room, and while I'm walking, I suddenly get goosebumps. I stop for a second and continue. Since I'm 6 steps away from my room, I start walking, but I hear my mom right behind me saying something, like good night or something, but it was very distorted. But it was her voice. I immediately yelled Mom, and she was still in the bathroom. Our house had multiple paranormal things happen over the years, such as me having the same nightmare of my grandma and her clothes on the couch that she passed in saying my name. It all stopped when we went to the graveyard and visited her. My older brother has a lot worse things happening, but to stay on the main story, what do you think it is? I can sometimes see shadows and silhouettes of people, but when I get closer, they're not there anymore. What do you think? So, I would recommend doing a light cleansing, depending on your religion and things like that, whatever makes you comfortable. See if it goes away, and if it doesn't, that could be a mimic. But for now, I'm getting the vibes that it's just like a spirit that's messing with you. So that's not so bad, and they're usually easy to get rid of. But I would try that and see if that works. This one is titled, Not Urgent, Just Something I Want Out There. I want to share a story from my Nana's old house. I don't know the address, but I know it was in Phoenix, Arizona. I'll start with some things that my mother saw in that house that she told me about, which was a multitude of things. My mother and my aunt once waited for my Nona to come home, and they were looking outside when my mom said that she saw these people standing in a circle on the road. This road was a cul-de-sac, and from the window they were looking at, you could see the whole cul-de-sac. This was a 3-story house. She said they were in all black and she couldn't gather much else. She said her and her sister ran away from the window and hid in the downstairs bedroom. Keep this bedroom in mind. It's important for later. She also said she saw a little girl in her dreams that told her to stop blasting her music so loud. My mom always wore headphones from then on. During the time that we lived there, I always wondered why my mother kept the windows covered with a blanket. This house, the first floor, was on the ground, so you had to go downstairs to get there. It made no sense to me at all why she would keep those windows closed. However, now that we are in our new house, I asked her about it, and she said that she saw a bone-like witch in it once, and she had also seen the army of skeletons. The house itself was built on Native American burial grounds. My mother also told me that there was a bloody boy who both my aunt and Nona had saw. Back then, when I was 6, I was diagnosed with autism, and my mom was still learning about it, and one night I had to go to the bathroom. I opened the bedroom door, and there was a tall black figure with red eyes staring at me. I rushed to the bathroom there and turned on the light and did what I had to do, but when I turned on the light and turned around, it was still there. It was so angry. I closed the door and went back to sleep. My mother had also told me that as a child, I would play with the boy with red hair while she and his mother watched. They both passed of respiratory issues. The bedroom I talked about was in the downstairs area along with another room. Time skipped to when I was 11 and I was in my not-so-great father's house. Him and my mom are divorced and I was watching my 2 stepsisters. I just put them down for a nap when I heard a blood-curdling scream, and when I went to check on them, they were sound asleep. My sister's room was on the left of the hallway. At the end of it was my father's and stepmother's bedroom. When I looked into that bedroom, I saw a girl, maybe 16 years of age, covered in blood. She then floated off the bed and lands on the floor, getting up and doing one of those walks from horror movies. I would run, trying not to scream as she chased me. She only did this when I was alone, completely, or just with the girls and they were sleeping. Babe! I'm so scared. Time skipped to a few months later and I had stopped seeing my dad because of the mistreatment. And I'm sleeping in my room when I hear someone call me by my dead name. I jolt awake saying, "Yeah," and get no response, so I went back to sleep. In October of that same year, I was sent to a mental hospital for reasons I can't disclose. I was sleeping in my room that they assigned me when I heard my dad call me. He couldn't have been there. Now in the present, I've moved out of state and I live with my mom. When I brought the girl away from my father's house, she said she already knew because she had followed me and that her name was Beth. My mother and almost everyone in my family on her side, including me, can either see and talk to them or sense them. I think this is genetic, but because of this, I constantly attract spirits to me. I need advice on how to stop that. Please send some advice on what I can do. Well, I think a lot of that, I'm not saying necessarily all of it, but I think maybe a lot of it's a manifestation of trauma and just negative energy. I say that coming from someone that it happened to as well. You go through really bad things and it personifies and it turns into an entity of just negativity that follows you around, and it kind of lessens as you work through the things that you went through. But as far as spirits coming to you, I mean, I don't know how to shut that off myself. It happens to me too, but I would keep your space cleansed, keep protection crystals on you if you're religious, keep like a cross necklace or something like that, just something that you hold strong to for protection, and that should help lessen the negative ones. But as far as the others, I don't know, man. I'm in the same boat. This one's titled, "I Thought I Was Going Crazy Until I Saw Your Video." I saw the word mimic, so this is gonna be rough. Ever since I can remember, I've always felt a connection to the paranormal, and with that came my own experiences. Since I was a kid, I would hear my mother calling me. I would always respond as I was about 5 or 6 at the time. We lived alone back then in a very small flat/apartment. Despite hearing her voice, when I would respond, she would be confused and tell me that she hadn't called me whatsoever. Looking back, she probably chalked it up to me watching one too many paranormal videos and such. This carried on until we moved out with my dad and younger brother. We moved apartments unrelated to the voice, and everything calmed down for a while. Then we moved into a house. We moved into this house when I was around 11, and that's when the voice of my mom got worse. It started off as little things like hearing my name being called by my mother in the dead of night. Everyone was asleep, and something in the house wasn't right. Then it would progress into my mother talking to me through the bedroom door. For context, if me and my mom can't sleep, then we'd go downstairs and have tea and head back to bed. This was a pretty usual occurrence for me and her. Then when I would answer, she wouldn't. I never dared to open my door because something was always off about these encounters. I couldn't pick it out, but something was wrong. By the age of 12, I was genuinely paranoid. The voice of my mother kept getting worse until it occurred almost every night. I was losing sleep, up for days on end out of fear. Every time I heard my mother's voice in the middle of the night, I would freeze. I didn't trust her voice. Then the shadow figures started. The first time I saw one was when I was 13. I'd woken up in the middle of the night to find a plague doctor figure at the end of my bed. Somehow I turned over and went to sleep like nothing happened. The next time I saw one was a few months later. I just turned 14. I was up early and had to take care of our puppy at the time. I was sat in the living room watching a TikTok, and out of my peripheral vision, I saw that what was easily a 7-ish feet tall thing. It was bent over and looking directly at me. It disappeared as quickly as it appeared, and I didn't sleep that night. I'm glad I saw your video. Thank you. The thing bending over, like, I don't like it. I don't like it. This story is titled The Mirror Showing Hell. During high school, I had this one friend that I would hang out with a lot. Well, one day I'd gone over after school while their parents were out of town to watch movies and eat junk food. Upon entering the house, you first step into the den/family room. Going to the right led you into the kitchen, and going to the left, you went down a hall. Down this hall, the first room you pass is the bathroom, and then there's 3 bedrooms along the side of the hall. Against the very black wall of the hall was a huge body mirror. About 3 to 5 people could easily all see themselves in it, and it took up most of the wall. Halfway through the movie, I got up to use the bathroom, and on my way there, I felt watched. I couldn't shake this feeling. I quickly went in, did what I needed to do, and stepped out. I was closing the bathroom door behind me, and I happened to look over into the mirror. What I saw is still burned into my head today. It looked like I was staring straight into hell. I saw flames, burning, dancing all over the wall, and what seemed like 2 to 3 shadow people looking back at me. I froze, and they seemed to have noticed. They started stepping towards me, and that's when I snapped out of it and ran to find my friend. He and his little sister were sitting in the kitchen getting more snacks. I was visibly shaken up, so they sat me down and asked what happened. I told them what I saw. I told them how they really needed to move the mirror because it was horrifying. They both looked at me shocked until my friend said, "Wait, the mirror? That's not possible. It broke last week." I don't like that. I don't like that. Pete, do you have thoughts? I'm scared. Okay. I stared in disbelief. You and me too. You and me both. I stared in disbelief, and he continued on saying on a random day the previous week everyone was home and collectively heard a loud bang. When they went to investigate, the mirror was in pieces on the floor. I thought they were messing with me, so I get up to go look, and sure enough, that mirror was not there. It was completely gone. There was a rosary on a nail hanging there instead. I didn't even see that during the incident. They never found out how it broke, and I didn't go over there for a while after that. We told their parents when they returned home, and we couldn't figure out what happened. They definitely didn't replace that mirror. Maybe they were trying to get through, maybe they broke it, but I never really went around after that. Honestly, just get rid of all the mirrors. They've never done anything good for me. I'm gonna be so honest. On that note, I've had enough and I'm terrified. So we're gonna end it there. I don't even know what to say. You guys are never gonna sleep again, and neither am I. I will see you next week, maybe, unless the mirrors get me. I don't know now. Good luck. Cover your mirrors. All right, bye.